You guys, recently I just got sent a haul package from the Middle East, and I'm so excited to talk about the fragrances that are in here. As you guys know, I've been talking a lot on the channel about French Avenue fragrances, and I always love how high quality their stuff has been. You get a really good bang for your buck, and they actually reached out and asked if I wanted to review some of their new releases. And so today we're gonna check out which ones are my favorite and which I'm gonna recommend to you. So without further ado, let's jump in. What's going on, everyone? It's great to see you. I'm Eli with Common Sense, and it's been a little while since I've made a video. I've kind of gone on a little bit of a hiatus, just giving myself a break, but I wanted to get this video done because I love these fragrances and I just wanted to put this one out. I feel like if you've been in the fragrance game for a while, you know about them, but basically French Avenue and Fragrance World are the same company, and they have some amazing high quality smelling fragrances. And I gotta say, Fierté is one of my favorites, and I really haven't found one that I dislike yet. The first fragrance we're checking out is called Signature Brown by Fragrance World. As you can see, this has a gorgeous box to it. It kind of opens up from the sides, and inside sits this very interesting fragrance bottle. This bottle is the Fragrance World. It's the globe, and it has a beautiful leather detailing on the outside and this shiny accent on the front. Kind of feel like I'm holding a grenade almost. And like a grenade, this stuff is incredibly loud and strong. I remember the first time that I actually sprayed this, it lasted over 24 hours on my clothes and on my skin, and till the next day, my room still smelled like this stuff. So go easy on the trigger with this one. I tried not to look at too many of the notes on these just because I wanted to give a more honest feedback. I kind of didn't want the notes to cloud my judgment, but from what I can tell on this one, it's giving a very nice green earthy vibe. It kind of smells like a green violet leaf almost. And actually this has changed a little bit because I originally recorded a shorter review of this a couple weeks ago, and it's actually become a little bit more herbal and more aquatic. So I feel like there's a nice ambery lavender in here. It's kind of aquatic, but it also has a really nice dose of like a salty, peppery sandalwood in there. So it's very creamy. It's almost got like a Gaiac wood type of a vibe where it's a little bit woody, salty, and a little bit peppery in the opening. Oh man, that is actually drying down so nice. Like, I don't remember it smelling like this. I remember it smelling a little bit more salty, a little bit more just of an edge to it, but God, that is drying down nicely. Not even gonna lie. I actually did not expect that because I did film this review like a couple weeks ago and the footage got corrupted somehow, but this is a lot better and I'm glad that I had to re-record it. This definitely reminds me of something like Diptyque or Le Labo would release, where it's just that really nice, rich, musky, very waxy, kind of a nice sandalwood type of a vibe where it's clean, it's waxy, and it just smells upscale. And it does smell quite different on your skin versus the tester strip. And I gotta say, at least on my skin, after I took kind of a nice hot shower, some of those ambers definitely come out, and I feel like I almost get like a tobacco touch from it. So it's very peppery, it's kind of dark, but at the same time it's very salty and does have a nice luxurious feeling to it. It definitely gets more supple. It's more of like a warm hug that you feel when you wear it, and it's just comforting stuff. I'm not even gonna lie. Honestly, this stuff smells absolutely fantastic. The presentation is gorgeous, and again, it lasts a good 24 hours. So be warned, this is very strong and it's definitely going to be an attention getter. And that one is Fragrance World Signature Brown. Now, next up, this one is going to be a 10 out of 10 fragrance in my book. This is Fragrance World's Royal Blend Vintage, and I'm super glad that they sent me this one and not the original Royal Blend, because I have a bunch of original Angel Share dupes, and this one is not an Angel Share dupe. This, I believe, is going to be a twist or taking inspiration from By Kilian's Old Fashioned, and I love that fragrance so much. I love drinking old fashions, and this definitely gives me that kind of a vibe where it's very honey-like. It's got like a juicy plum up top almost, and it definitely smells very sweet, warm, and boozy. And a funny thing about this one too is I sprayed this one on myself maybe twice. The second that I walked out of my room, my mom walked up to me and she said, "What is that? I need to know what you are wearing because I want to just spray myself like crazy with it." No joke. But there's something so intoxicating and inviting about this DNA because it's very vanillic, it's sweet, and again, you have that tobacco boozy vibe with like a nice warm vanilla and honey. But I think that plum or that kind of fruity vibe definitely gives it more of a fruity edge. And I think it's just what those nice warm ambery notes need, is just a little bit of that sort of citrusy sweet fruit. Beautiful stuff. I also feel like I get like a hopsy vibe where it's almost wheat-like. If you like benzoin or any of those vanillic ambery notes, then this is going to be perfect for you. And I feel like there could be a little bit of cinnamon or something else in here, but this is a 10 out of 10 fragrance. And I want to say this one also is an extrait de parfum. 12 hours out of this stuff on my clothes, and it definitely projects like crazy for the first 4 or so hours, and you have this beautiful hazy cloud around you of intoxicating cinnamon, boozy, vanillic goodness. And that one is Royal Blend Vintage. Now this next one's an interesting one. This one is French Avenue's Chocola Addict. Let's give this one a spray again. So this one opens up with a nice dose of chocolate, and it does have sort of a nutty vibe in the opening. It wasn't listed, but I almost get like a cashew. So it's like a chocolate with nuts combined with a little bit of an incense and like a dark leathery vibe. There's also this candied orange. I think it was either mandarin or some other like blood orange that was listed, but I do get little peaks, bits and pieces of that bright citrusy note. And it kind of reminds me of one of those orange Tootsie Pops. So those little ones with the little Tootsie Roll candy in the middle that you'd eat back in, you know, elementary school, or heck, even now. I still eat those. But it kind of reminds me of that, where it's chocolatey. It's kind of got that toffee, slightly vanilla vibe with that kind of candied orange in there. So that's what it reminds me of. It reminds me of an orange Tootsie Pop. But I think there is a little bit more resin in here. There's like some leather, something else in here towards the base where it gives it a lot more of a depth. I actually do prefer the dry down because you do lose a little bit of that incense and some of that orange. And it definitely smells a little bit more vanillic and a little bit more toned down. I'm not about those super loud, attention-grabbing fragrances. I like something a little bit more subtle. At least for me personally, this is a fragrance that I find just slightly too sweet and a little bit too dark. Now, this doesn't mean that it's a bad fragrance. I think a lot of people are going to enjoy this one. If you like dark, patchouli, chocolatey fragrances like this, then I think this is going to be up your alley. But at least for me personally, I kind of like some of the other ones that I was sent. And that one is Chocola Addict. And last but not least, we have a very interesting fragrance. This one is called Opus Magnum, and this is a very interesting bottle. It's almost like this matte finish on the edge. And I actually do like how this one feels in the hand. You got this tiny little crystal in the front as well as around the collar, and the cap is actually quite nicely weighted. Just looking at this little gem here, it definitely reminds me of one of the Amouage fragrances. Let's check this one out. So this one actually blasts it quite wide, so I feel like you don't have to be super precise with your spraying. If you spray this near yourself, you are gonna get blasted with it. Whoo, that is sweet. That is a lot of fragrance. So this fragrance opens up with a blast of a sweet maple syrupy vibe, and I want to say there is also a little bit of a mentholated vibe. So it smells like a slightly minty, very sweet leather. And I do want to say I get some of the same vibe from the Reckless leather from Amouage, but I want to say that's from the fenugreek. I think that's what the note was. It's like this yellow type of a seed where it gives off a very syrupy, earthy vibe. I also get a little bit of a spice in the opening. I think there might even be like a touch of an agar wood or something in there, but you do get a ton of that leather as well. So it's slightly smoky, sweet, and syrupy. I think once it dries down, maybe 20 or 30 minutes or so, it definitely smells better. And yeah, I do prefer that dry down. This one does follow that same style of a fragrance as the last one, where it's going to be very loud and very sweet, but I would probably wear this one in like a winter, fall type of a season. I wouldn't necessarily wear this in the summer or even really the springtime, because it is going to be very sweet and it can be a little bit cloying. But I do like that salty leather combined with those spices and the fenugreek, because again, it smells spicy, sweet, and very leathery. I'd also probably advise spraying this one maybe by your wrists, or not necessarily super close to your neck or like your upper arms, because it does give me a little bit of olfactive fatigue. But again, that's probably just because of how strong it is. If you want to be able to smell it for longer and not go nose blind, I'd probably spray it, you know, towards your middle torso. But I'm definitely coming around to this one, and it is growing on me. This one lasts a really long time again, probably around that 10 to 12 hour mark. I did test it a couple weeks ago, but I remember it did last me all day. So longevity and performance is not going to be an issue. And that one is Opus Magnum. So there we have 4 fragrances from the house of French Avenue and Fragrance World. So again, I still gotta say that the Signature Brown and the Royal Blend Vintage are some of my favorite fragrances that I've smelled from them. I think the Royal Blend Vintage smells absolutely perfect for, you know, a date night where it's kind of warm, seductive, boozy, and it's got that nice benzoin, boozy type of a vibe with that honey and that cinnamon. It's just to die for. Plus the presentation looks absolutely fantastic, and I've had people comment on how beautiful this bottle looks. So this is a perfect gift if you want to give somebody something nice smelling for not a whole lot of money. And again, the Signature Brown, this one just smells really expensive, and the packaging is a little bit over the top, but hey, I really like it when companies try to go all out and think outside of the box and make a really pretty box. So I feel like that's what they did with this one. And again, I do want to thank French Avenue and Fragrance World for sending me these fragrances to review, because I absolutely love the brand. And when they reached out, I thought, of course, I would love to check out some of the stuff you guys have been making, because y'all have been knocking it out of the park recently. But let me know if you've tried any of these fragrances, or if you have any other French Avenue, you know, Fragrance World fragrances that you want me to check out. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. I'm Eli with Common Sense. Until the next time, bye-bye.